Welcome back, everyone. Today is Friday, and that is exactly what I wanted to talk about was Friday and how we think about Fridays. Because for me, Friday is just another day, and not because I've got like some crazy, grind mindset. It's just the way that it works into my life. And I was kind of thinking about this today because some people who I work with, some other teachers were talking about their Friday plans, and they have this sort of recurring Friday plan that goes every week. And I don't really have that or even the ability to do that simply because I'm constantly slotting different projects in outside of my teaching job into what I do. So I'm always looking at like, oh, where can I fit this? Where can I fit that? What are the projects I'm working on and how does that work? And my wife does the same because outside of her work, she has a ton of different projects and she's always slotting time in. And so luckily for us, we're able to make our own schedules work so we spend time together. But unfortunately, because of how flexible we need to be with everything else, productivity wise, it really limits us socially, and I think that's the downside to the approach that we take, is that it makes it very difficult for us to see friends, to make plans, because our schedules aren't like Monday to Friday work, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, free time. That's never really worked for us as long as we've been together, but that's worked for us as a whole, if that makes sense. So like that type of schedule doesn't work for us, but the way that we approach it makes us kind of a stronger unit, I think, because we're able to make that work. So the upside, obviously, productivity's through the roof for us. We get to work on a lot more different projects. The downside is it makes our social lives outside of our social life with each other much more complicated to really actuate, to make it work. So I want to kind of throw the question out to you is, how do you approach it? Are you the type of person who's able to set a strict sort of schedule for yourself? Monday to Friday is work, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, free time, and like you draw those lines and that's that? Or are you constantly working on different things and they fill the space in? Like today's Friday, I came home from teaching and I started working on other projects. Jib, my wife, worked late and then she came home and worked on something for a little bit and then went to bed because she's going to be back at the fashion studio tomorrow morning. They have a show coming up in Milan, so they're sort of like pushing to get that ready. So like her schedule is nuts right now. Plus she has embroidery projects for other things that are like, the camera's actually mounted to one of her embroidery projects right now, actually. So yeah, there's challenges to this, but there's also some fun aspects as well, that I do get to work on a lot of things. Now, fortunately, the friends that I have close to me in my circle, they get that. They might not have the same exact type of routine, but they understand that type of routine. So the friends who are really close, who are really key to me, important to me, we make it work when we want to see each other, and that's what matters. But I'm not able to have like sort of like a standing Friday plan because Fridays are not always a day that I'm free, if that makes any sense. It's something that I'm thinking about today, because just like I said, the way that one of my colleagues was talking about it, I thought in my mind like, oh, that's nice. That sort of predictability of having this every week, that you've got this one thing you do, and that it makes a lot of sense. Whereas, for me, ultimately, much more comfortable with sort of the way I approach it. Well, I would like to have that in some sense, like, oh, every week. By the same token, like, I think I would get bored of something if it was scheduled out every week for years and years and years. So just something that was running through my head, running through my mind, and wanted to share it. And I'd like to hear what you guys do, how you approach it, and the way it works for you. with that, it is very late on a Friday evening, and I am going to go to bed, and I'm going to help out one of my buddies tomorrow. So, going to be up early for that, and hopefully get coffee made for Jit because she likes a nice coffee before she kicks off to the studio. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you tomorrow.